you don't get to be a writer who lives in a cabin in the mountains and just write a book and expect somebody else to do all the rest of the work for you. Early in my career, I could write the book and send it to the publisher and they did most everything. And that's just not the case anymore.
Give me something, you put your teacher hat on for a second. And, we have a lot of people that are trying to become professional writers who listen to our podcast. What are one or two points of advice that you would give to these people who are trying to build their careers?
Well, never stop learning. I mean, I'm constantly absorbing other movies, TV shows. I'm reading comics. I'm reading other novels. And I read outside of my genre because that's where you learn stuff. That if I'm writing Fantasy Quest adventures, I don't just read Fantasy Quest adventures because then you're just then recycling. So read a lot, learn a lot, work every day. There's no such thing as a vacation. You're exercising your muscles. An Olympic swimmer doesn't just say, I'm taking the month off. They work out every day and keep themselves in shape. And you need to do that with your creative muscles. And it goes back to the learning, at least in publishing. This business it's in this constant flux. And I spend half of my time just trying to learn, well, what changed last week and what publisher went out of business and what new technology did Amazon come up with and how do I make better covers and oh, there's a new layout software that I need to learn. And you don't get to be a writer who lives in a cabin in the mountains and just write a book and expect somebody else to do all the rest of the work for you. You now have to be a one person band doing everything instead of, I mean, early in my career, I could write the book and send it to the publisher and they did most everything. And that's just not the case anymore. And it's exhausting. And I would love to just be resting on my laurels and writing a book or two a year just because I want to, but too much good stuff. But it is fun and I'm enjoying it. So
when I was first starting out, I was looking for my Coen brother. I'm like, who's that person that I'm going to work with that's going to do the stuff that I don't want to do? And after a few years of waiting around, I remember one morning I was brushing my teeth, looking in the mirror, and I was like, oh, that's my Coen brother in the mirror. And that's when I had to learn how to,
Yep.
raise money and how to create a private placement memorandum and do film accounting and do all the stuff that I never really had a stomach for. But that allowed my career to move forward because I was able to do the other stuff that I didn't want to do that I think most creatives don't want to do. That
it's your job. I mean, that's what a lot of writers don't realize is, doctors don't get doctor's block and lawyers don't get lawyer's block. That is their job. They got to do it. And there are parts of this that I love and there are parts that I don't love. But if I had a 40-hour-a-week job working at a retail store, there'd be a lot of that I don't like too. And most people have to do that. So writers aren't special. They have to do things that they might not want to do.